But am I giving away my proprietary ideas?
I mean, kind of, but you already went there. We had a name for it and everything. I don't think I should say the name.
No, don't say the name. Don't say the name. But this is trademark, ho.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means anything. If I say it's trademark,
no, it
but I'm gonna say
you gotta follow. You gotta go to the office. It's the whole thing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. We are here with another one, okay? I am Intisar, if you did not know, but you can call me Zar, honey. And then this is my beautiful husband, Joseph.
Hey.
We're back. I'm beat, okay? I'm accepting all compliments. And we are talking all things Married at First Sight. So this was kind of rough to watch. Is it me?
Why you say that?
Mike, I felt like, first of all, I felt like it was a witch. Okay, so wait a minute. I'm about to say something, but I don't mean it. And I felt like it was the opportunity to make Lindsay the villain. I don't know if they were trying to make Lindsay the villain.
No, Lindsay is the villain. Lindsay made herself the villain.
And maybe it's that. Maybe it's that because let me tell you something. Basically, the episode was about Lindsay and how she ain't shit.
Yeah, and it really should have been about Alyssa and how she ain't shit, and Jasmina
like
about how she isn't shit, and it wasn't. And I didn't. That's what I did not like.
And I get it. Don't get me wrong. She's equally. This was like one of the seasons where the women were trash. I mean, and I mean like trash. And I mean that with all due respect.
And my biggest issue with it is that where was the same energy when we had trash Chris from Chris and Paige and trash. What's the guy's name who I forget?
See, I don't think they compiled.
Where was the same energy? Like, I just feel like everybody was about to fight, you know, those people, and now we get to, you know, the terrorist that is Lindsay and Alyssa and Jasmina, and we want to sit and ask close segments out by asking, well, what's the type of man you think Jasmina needs?
That bothered you.
What's the type of man you think Alyssa needs? Like, are you serious? You just
watched like that either.
You just watched this woman terrorize this guy.
And I don't know that's how we terrorize. I mean, I would argue
Jasmina is a bullshitter. So it's not even that she so much terrorized them, but she gaslighted her way through an entire season. She bullshitted her way through an entire season. And I don't like that nobody held her feet to the fire.
Friend zone. She
made light of it, which was also offensive to me. The whole time she's laughing. It's not fucking funny. I'm sure it's not funny to. I'm sure I didn't like it. I'm sure it wasn't funny to Michael either. I just didn't like. I don't like when we don't keep the same energy with people. You know what I mean? Like the one thing that we do when we sit here and we talk about the show, we try to come from, you know, as non-biased of a place as possible. We try to be as real and transparent as possible, and I just don't like when I watch these shows and I see these quote unquote experts, professionals, or whatever, these people not give the same energy that they would if there was a man or a black woman or a black man or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like that.
Because I really do think we really got to talk about the MVP of this episode. And that is Dr. Viviana.
I'm going to give her kudos because
here for the bull
at least for, was that Lindsay?
For Lindsay,
at least for Lindsay,
she really didn't have it for
and Alyssa.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give her her flowers for that.
I feel like she wanted us to kind of, even Jasmina, when she told her, "You're gonna look back on this and you're gonna be really salty that you're going back into." But
she could have went harder. I just feel like she could have. I feel like if Jasmina was a man, she'd have went harder.
Jasmina was a diversity hire. Jasmina was, you know, we needed a real cute bitch. Let's throw her up in there in the mix. We found her in the streets. You know what I mean? So they already knew she probably was never going to stay with the human being that they hooked her up with. They thought they was getting lucky when they found Michael. You know what I mean? When the reality is, and you're not going to get me to believe I do not give a damn. And I wasn't there. I don't have no extra knowledge. You are not going to get me to believe that Michael wouldn't. It wasn't into it. You're just not going to get me to
Yeah,
believe
that's
it.
and that's
You're
why
not.
that's why I didn't appreciate the lightheartedness and the laughing
I don't
and the
like that.
giggling, because it was clear it was very reminiscent of the Gil and I don't even remember that
Mirla.
woman name. The Gil and Mirla
Yeah, I
situation, where it
agree.
was like Mirla was very carefree and I don't give a fuck, and and Gil could not stop crying. You know what I mean? And I just don't like that, because again, if it was if the roles were
I
reversed
think it would be
gender
more
wise,
energy.
oh my
I do
god!
agree. I do think it
Imagine a
would be more
man dogging a
energy.
woman out for an entire season and then coming to the reunion and laughing about it for 60
Well,
minutes.
let's back up. Let's back
I
up.
do not like that.
I
Like,
know. Let's back up
that's
on Pussy
weak.
Pop just a little bit. Um, let's talk about the segment with just the ladies and how Lindsay was outed as a pathological liar
She sure
and rude and
was.
disrespectful. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Scorpios, but Jasmina doesn't give me the vibe. Like, usually I could tell, like, if somebody's actions I don't like on screen, I would probably vibe with them, right?
Hmm.
Like, just in real life. And she just does not give. She just gives black girls. So for that, I respect her, right? But nothing else. And when she said that Lindsay told her she could get out of her Uber, I about died in the street.
Um,
Why would that white woman talk to her to like that?
I think that Lindsay shows her ass in many different ways, and I
I'd
appreciate.
have slapped the piss out that bitch.
I
I would have slapped her so motherfucking good. She would have never even thought about ordering Uber ever again. I'd have slapped the piss out of. And I don't like stuff like that. Like, I don't like, first of all,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
6 o'clock
either.
in the morning. It's a bunch of women. And this is where I'm going to cape for Jasmina. Because I do think, first of all, I already know that Jasmina wasn't loud, but I do know she took a tone with her just based on how she speak to Michael, right?
Mhm.
But Lindsay is forever the victim and
Always.
forever thinking that somebody, you're trying to aggress upon my person. If I'm trying to tell you, you're offending me.
Yeah.
I'd have slapped the piss out of. I'd have slapped the piss out of, and then got my bag out the car and walked the rest of the way. I don't give a damn because I do not like energy like that. I don't ever want. First of all, we girls, so you should never. It should never get to the point, especially if I'm not threatening you, that you would say some anybody. I
Yeah.
mean that for anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really kind of like I just wasn't feeling it or whatever the case may be. And the problem is that I can't say I don't like that and then don't believe also that Lindsay was being. First of all, it's not up for debate. Lindsay was being messy with Alyssa, and she didn't even deny it.
No, I think I absolutely believe nothing that Lindsay says, because if everybody's crazy, you're the one that's insane type thing. Like Lindsay, everybody's lying on Lindsay. Everybody misrepresented the story. Everybody remembers it wrong. I mean, the whole cast isn't lying on you, Lindsay. I'm sorry. Like, they just aren't. Like, so I think that that's the one situation involving Alyssa where I'm just like, I don't believe the other person
I
at
don't
all.
believe.
And then Alyssa proceeded to lie for
But
the
my
rest of
thing is
the.
this: also, y'all not gonna sit up here and cape for this bitch. First of all, y'all should feel like y'all time was wasted.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? As a person that came on there,
And that's the one thing that I'm glad Lindsay did make a remark about. Nobody else did, because
and nobody else did.
Jasmina is best friends with Alyssa, so she's
And nor
definitely
did
not
they,
gonna.
nor did they come to her defense.
Right.
When
But
she
nobody.
said, what did she say, babe?
Lindsay said, I felt like we were here for marriage and Alyssa was not.
Period. Big purr. And now y'all out here, y'all making friends. Oh, it's so cute. Mama. No, bitch, fuck her.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Jasmina, oh, this is my friend. We know, of course,
It
because
just like I would.
birds of a feather
Period.
flock together.
And y'all both. The problem is that you just. I mean, not even the problem. The success is that you're able to execute where she is not.
Right.
And that's just really it. And that's all.
She probably low key tried to coach her through it.
Her to be a terrible human being. I know I say that every single show,
'Cause she is.
but the more I look at this, and the more we even get the opportunity to speak to Chris, it is very clear to me that Alyssa is a terrible human being.
Yeah, and I know Chris was
Terrible.
probably tired of dealing with this in her because he
Terrible.
really didn't say much. But I would have wanted him to also not allow her to just spew her bullshit all over the episode like she did, because he kind of just let her talk. But I just wanted more people to, like, I wanted more of that Dr. Viviana energy.
He let her talk
from everybody, from Kevin, from Pastor
from all
Kyle,
sides.
from Dr. Pepper. Like, where's everybody else?
He let her talk like that because she's already getting it from all sides. People are not here for her. Like, they are not here for her.
I just
And
hate
he
in
like,
the moment.
he like, do my light work.
That's true. I just don't like in a moment where they just let her go and she just does she's crying.
I can't
I'm
with
really
I
a
can't
good
with the white woman
person,
tears.
and this didn't work. Saying things like this didn't
You,
work out.
but imagine you come on national television. You degrade, disrespect, or rude to a man who has said nothing but nice things about you. And then you turn around and start crying.
But not only that, the other thing I didn't appreciate is that they running back the tape for everybody but Alyssa. Like, she sat there and talked about how, said things like this didn't work out and he wasn't the right fit for me. But from day one, this is the wedding day, she didn't talk to him. They slept in different rooms from the wedding night. How do you can't know anything about a person who you barely ever spoke to, and then you didn't even spend a night with?
What are Chris's values that you know that you don't have the same values?
But why didn't we go back and play the tape of her literally walking away from him on the wedding day, spending, like, we just let her talk? And I just didn't like that, because if it was somebody else, or like, some guy from some other season, it would have been a bunch of receipts, a bunch of tape.
Oh, 1,000%.
Dr. Viviana coming at her, Dr. Pepper coming at him. Like, that just was whack. Yeah, I just didn't like it.
I didn't like it either. I mean, I thought the segment, let me say this. I thought this half of the reunion was much better than the first half. That's first things first, okay? Much better. Because I feel like we got to see real dynamics and really get to the nitty gritty of how people are and how people are in a group and everything like that. And, on top of Lindsay being a terrible human being, I mean, her too. I was going to say, on top of Alyssa being a terrible human being, wow. Lindsay is kind of pulling up the rear there. You know what I mean? I was watching this thinking, how could she possibly be worse? She's worse than I thought, but it all took me back to when the daddy asked Mark, do you like to wrestle with alligators? And Mark all like, no, because he's he ain't all the way there. He on the spectrum.
Mark wasn't ready for this. Mark wasn't ready to be paired with somebody like Lindsay. Lindsay, she shouldn't have been paired with anybody.
She shouldn't have been paired with anybody. And high key, the fact that these background checks don't include a character witness is fascinating to me. Because the father would have don't pair this bitch with nobody.
But this is to your point that you made a while ago. We need to see y'all take. I mean, it's like y'all add another week every year to the picking process, episodes, but we really see nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to see what goes into this process of picking people, and let's not skip over any details, because y'all gonna make 3 episodes out of it anyway. So why not go in depth and actually show something legitimate? Are you talking to people's, family members and siblings and friends? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure some of the people would have just said, oh, don't put Lindsay on this show.
I'm sure more people, if they knew it was a confidential questionnaire, would say, please don't pick her.
Yeah.
And I actually believe that of Alyssa as well.
Yeah, probably so.
I believe that because people, when they were talking to her friends, everybody, your people know you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know your dating history. They know your spirit. And I think that even her people would have been like, she ain't, But then don't get me started. So then we have the man segment, and they sit down, and I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything with Lindsay. Lindsay lied about the argument with Jasmina. She's just a liar.
I mean, she lied about almost everything.
I'm not even sure Lindsay is a liar, right? Like, I'm not sure because I wasn't there. I'm pretty sure but I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I just don't believe that everybody can have this opinion of you. Now, inversely, how the girls like Alyssa, I think we are in an age where people like pretty people. And I think
clearly on this show,
and I really do believe the only reason why they vibe with Alyssa, you can't get me to believe y'all talk to Alyssa and y'all like y'all genuinely y'all vibe with her. You're not gonna get me to believe it. You're just not.
I don't believe that either.
She didn't have one redeeming moment.
One.
I've never experienced.
She wasn't even there long enough to. She threw a temper tantrum the day of the wedding.
But even on the reunion, she didn't have a redeeming moment. No. Like you would.
She was the victim the whole time.
You had the opportunity to watch all. Really come full circle, and step back and really take a moment, and even still, you don't say anything redeeming, anything that's worth apologizing for, and you would still blame other people.
Yes, I already said it, but I just don't like that everybody kind of sat around and let her do it.
You know what else I don't like? And this is really jumping. So me and Joe were we were buzzed yesterday. We had a great night. And at least I did. I did too. But we were watching it and we were literally talking to each other. Mm-hmm. And Chris was on. Chris was doing a segment or something, I guess, with the guys. And I turn to Joe and I say, they should just have a show.
Oh, wow,
with all the singles from Married at First Sight, and then just let them, like, almost like a real world vibe. Like, I would put them all in a house and do like a vacation thing. Mm-hmm. But am I giving away my proprietary ideas?
I mean, kind of, but you already went there. We had a name for it and everything. I don't think I should say the name.
No, don't say the name. Don't say the name. But this is trademark, ho.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means anything. If I say it's trademark,
no, it doesn't.
But I'm gonna say it.
You gotta follow. You gotta go to the office. It's the whole thing.
I'm gonna say it anyway. How about 2 seconds later, y'all? A thing come up.
The commercial for the episode that's happening next week, which I'm sure you guys all saw. Of what is it? Where are they?
Where are they now? And they're like showing them like dating people from different episodes.
They're showing Chris in particular dating. I don't remember her name.
Remember her name either.
But the girl from another. I remember the guy she was married to because apparently he meets Alyssa. Which is weird.
No, she wasn't married to him.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't remember.
The redhead. You remember the cute redhead from last season with the boobies?
I don't. But
she was cute.
The point is,
how's she doing now?
The point is that they were showing Chris dating another cast member from another season, which is literally we just came up with this plan while we were watching the reunion part 2. So they was listening to us.
They was listening to us, and I'm so tired of the FBI listening to us. Get off our line, okay? Get off our line. Yeah. Let us live and stop giving our proprietary ideas to these people. So, yeah, that happened. The men sit down and talk, and we find out even more that Lindsay is a terrible
person.
Oh, my God. She done spit on this man.
Just like, how do we sit there and listen to all of the grotesque things that she's done and then not hold her feet to the fire for it? I mean, the other guy I want to give flowers to was Kevin, because he was like, you're going to apologize because
no, I didn't terrible. Like that. I didn't like that.
You didn't like him telling her to apologize?
No, hell no.
Why?
Because I'm a goddamn adult. If I wanted to apologize to somebody, I would have been dead. I would have did it already. First of all, it's insulting to Mark and her to continue to ask me to do it. If I wanted to apologize, this happened months ago. I would have done it already. I don't need to be in front of y'all.
She obviously didn't. I think that was the point.
That's what I'm saying. She didn't want to apologize.
She didn't want to apologize, but I think.
So then why force her?
But I think the point was, the elephant in the room is Lindsay not taking accountability for anything. Somebody needs to speak to it because no one is holding any. The theme of this reunion to me was not holding anybody accountable. Jasmina wasn't held accountable. Alyssa wasn't held accountable. Lindsay wasn't held accountable. So there was a one bright spot where everybody in the room was like, yeah, Elijah is whispering to her like, bro, you need to apologize.
I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it was because it was disingenuous.
Yeah,
it was fake. It was fake phony.
It was fake.
She did not fucking mean it. So why are we doing this?
It was fake for her, but I think it was a genuine emotion for everybody else to be like, yo, you need to apologize.
And they could say, but my thing is this: the way that they stopped the segment to kind of like force her to do it is fake as fuck. Do not. I really genuinely feel this way, Joe. No, I don't apologize for nothing if I don't mean it. If I if and sometimes they say, our therapists say like sometimes what does it cost you to apologize or whatever the case may be. But I really genuinely believe that if that woman wanted to, if that woman felt like what she did was wrong, it wouldn't have took for them to get to the reunion.
No. The point is that Lindsay never thinks that anything she does is wrong.
And that's my point. So
everybody's genuine emotion is like, you need to apologize.
But she already know that. She already know that. You don't think that she go through the world defending her own right to be wrong?
No,
it's obvious she does.
No, I'm saying that what was true to the room was everybody else feeling like she needed to, like you. I
understand that aspect of it. I still think it's disingenuous. And I think if you really fuck with Mark, you wouldn't even have put him in a position for her to give him no bullshit ass sorry. He knew it wasn't true. That's why he acted the way he did. So the reality is that now y'all putting so much emphasis on something that embarrassed him, that really triggered him, that traumatized him, when y'all should have just moved on to the next thing, because we know this bitch ain't remorseful. We know she ain't remorseful. So now y'all giving her more camera time, more clout, more shine, more of all the attention that she wants. Okay. And she don't give a damn about what she did.
I think people were just over Lindsay, and that was.
And I'm not saying that they not. That just re-traumatizes somebody. Because can you imagine sitting up in somebody's face and somebody begging the other person to apologize to you? Do you know how pitiful that is?
No. What I'm saying is, I think that the people's in the room's true emotion was, this is fucked up,
and yet it still reads as pitiful. It is
pitiful. The whole situation,
and that's my point.
Pitiful.
And that's my point. So my thing is, for you to imagine being wronged by somebody, they have never apologized to you. Now everybody in the room like, you need to apologize. You need to apologize. You would sit there and be like, this is unnecessary, because if that person wanted to do that, they would have done that already. So now all y'all doing is drawing attention to the trauma that I've received, which is why he gave her the dust that he gave her in the moment.
He's always giving her dust. He's traumatized.
Well, also that. I just felt like it was fake and phony. And all y'all out there that was on the show, how fake and phony was it?
To be honest, I think that everybody on the cast is done with Lindsay. So I felt that their genuine emotion was, you ain't shit. That's just the vibe that what I was getting from them.
And that I agree with. So let's move on to the segment. But like I said, we moved on to the segment with the guys. I'm also tired of them spotlighting Olajuwon and how far he's come. Over it. We're bored. We get it. It was bigger fish to fry here.
It really was.
I felt like, you know what I mean, for y'all to keep going. Even the segment when they was like, he didn't know his wife's name.
It's just like, what's with this incessant attempt to make Olajuwon look bad?
Bro!
Even with this like backhanded compliments, like,
it was low-hanging
Olajuwon came a long way, but you ain't shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this?
But they kept going. When I mean they kept repeating it, it was really
and playing
tired.
The videos, and y'all would play 1,000 videos of something that Olajuwon said, but not one video of Alyssa.
But I want to back.
Not one in this episode, in reunion part 1.
Lindsay,
they played like 1.5
Alyssa, Jasmina, y'all had more than enough room to really show how a lot of these people was terrorizing their spouses.
1,000%.
And the thing is, we got a lot of comments about, our take on Olajuwon and everything like that. And I responded to a lot of people because they were like, somebody said, and forgive me, I don't want to butcher this. I actually got my phone. But somebody said something about, how they had been around, a lot of relationships. Their parents had been married for a long time. Their friends had been married for a long time. They were in a long-term relationship, and they never experienced anybody talking to their spouse like that. And I want to say this with all due respect, because I really appreciate you, like, really responding. I said that, and I meant what I said. But one, I think people show you what they want to show you. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
People tell you what they want to tell you, especially more than anybody on this earth, married people. Yep. Okay? People, like, I tell people, like, more than anybody.
And old married people. Don't tell me about your grandmama and grandpapa. They come from an era where you had a different daddy and didn't find out until he was dead. And we know multiple people like that.
I mean, too many.
And right now, today.
And this is not to excuse what is seen as toxic behavior. What I said was, I told him straight up, if I left my husband based on behavior I did not like, I would not be experiencing the greatest love of my life. I just wouldn't. You know what I mean? And it required both of us to be in a space of patience and grace in order for us to get to a
Yep, that's a
space
word.
where we left our toxic moments. When I mean
That's a word.
we have come so far. Had I decided that, you know what, I'm done, I wouldn't experience, when I mean I'm in love, I wouldn't be experiencing that right now. I don't feel like I experienced any abuse. I just felt like it was not the way that I wanted to be treated. You know what I mean? So everybody can say that Elijah Wan didn't abuse Katina. We just don't like the way that it looks, right? You know what I mean? And I hear Julesy and everybody on the YouTube saying that, Married at First Sight terrorizes black women and all that shit like that. But I don't really believe that. I believe that we are in spaces, and a lot of us do not. The reality is, for us who are in long term relationships, you see every iteration of your spouse, every iteration. And I think that the idea that I really want to know the people y'all dating. I don't know. I've lived a full life.
I'm gonna
I
tell
don't
you
know these
this.
emotionally sound.
They don't exist.
I don't
And
know
I'm
these
I'm
men.
gonna tell
I
you
don't
this.
know
I'm
these
gonna tell
men.
you this. If you believe you can name your mommy, your pappy, your aunt, Cheryl, and her husband Ruckus, you can name all of them. If you are ever to claim that these people haven't gone through dark moments, you don't know that couple and you don't know their story.
And you don't.
Period.
And that's
There's no
just
couple that has made that's worth their salt, that has longevity in their relationship, that hasn't gone through dark moments and hasn't had moments where they could say that they feel like their spouse was did something or said something out of character.
and
None.
that's primarily none.
None. So I really
And
don't
we're not
like.
saying that from a space of where we believe that Katina should have had. Like, I don't feel like she endured abuse.
She
I
wasn't.
feel like she was with somebody, and this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to wait till we got here. I always say this. Some people are in a certain space in their mind and life when they come into new relationships, right? So sometimes you'll meet a man and he used to dealing with a bunch of men. Bunch of. Sometimes you meet a man and he's used to dealing with a bunch of women, and he gives them the respect that that particular woman warrants. Okay, you treat her however she allows you to treat her, whatever the case may be. And I think that that was just Elijah Wan's case. He was used to being the big man on campus. He was used to saying whatever he wanted to out his mouth. He was used to not having to conform and be conscious of other people's feelings. And that's what she got in the beginning. And then guess what? You meet people, you lock in, you commit to this process, and then you turn over a new leaf, because sometimes your best self does not come to fruition without somebody else.
1,000%. The reality of it is, y'all was wrong. Just take the L. Just take the L. Olajuwon was never a
And I
terror.
don't like how they keep showing his bad. It's
just take the L. Olajuwon was never a terrorist. He was learning how to become a husband. Period. Y'all was wrong. Just take the L.
Growing pains is a thing. And if
It's a
y'all
thing.
don't think,
And if you don't think it is, then you either know fake couples or you don't know the real couple. Period. Because there's not one couple at all. I appreciate the real couples that I have in my life, because they have spoken about to me their growing pains and things that they've had to go through and things that they've adjusted with. And that's how you the real ones know. You know what I mean? And we're not talking about, Lindsay terrorizing Mark, spitting on him.
Lindsay is
We
an
ain't talking about
actual
terrorists type.
disrespectful
Yeah, well, that's not what we
terrorist.
talking about. We talking about couples going through real shit, growing pains. You know what I mean? Like, so this
How
idea.
y'all don't got the same energy for that white woman? Explain that to me. Y'all would sit up here and tell us about Elijah Wan and all that BS. How you ain't got the same energy?
Yeah, that's
for
what I don't get it.
her?
That's why I don't want to hear what a lot of people got to say. Like, I ignore
That
it.
to me, she is nasty with intent to be
So
nasty.
Elijah Wan is abusive, but Lindsay isn't?
You know what? let's move on.
Alyssa wasn't?
I just want to get that off my chest. But I'm saying that I want to be clear. We saying that from a space of we love it when you engage us. You know what I mean? So don't think that this is like us like coming at y'all or whatever the case may be. It's not at all. It's more of us saying like we want to give y'all the love that y'all show us, and we want to make sure that y'all know that we reading what y'all saying, we hearing y'all. We want to keep the conversation going. So don't take anything we say personally. We just keeping the conversation going. So let's move on to Mike. Mark said that Mike, in order for him to get, he hopes that when he gets somebody new, he'll be a little bit more open. Do you think that the demise of Jasmina and Mike was due to him not being open?
No, a little bit more open to what? Mike was the only open person in the relationship.
I'm
Mike was the
asking.
only one that was taking part in these exercises, that was really putting forth effort, that was hearing things and putting them into action. And Jasmina was giving him dust the whole time. He was friend zoned from day one. Jasmina and Alyssa literally did the same exact thing, except she kept her composure and Alyssa did not. Because from day one, it was you can tell that a lot of this was built off of attraction. You weren't attracted to Michael, so it was like, well, my thing ain't getting wet for you if I ain't attracted to you. This is what she said. Ain't that what she said?
I don't know if attracted was the word, but
she said something to that extent of.
But you also know what I think.
You know what I mean?
I want to know.
And nobody got on her for that too. That was another thing, that there was no energy. Like, imagine, let's take Olajuwon.
No, don't take Olajuwon.
No. Let's go with it, since we want to villainize him.
I don't want to.
But let's imagine Olajuwon get up here and saying, "Oh, my dick don't get hard if you ain't da 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 da." Like that's basically tantamount to what Jasmina said. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say anything like that.
I said he said.
But I'm saying let's keep it. Let's imagine him getting on here and saying something about that. About their sex life like that about Katina. Imagine a blowback that he would have had. Y'all got to keep the same energy. Y'all be in the comments about Olajuwon. Where's the comments about Jasmina? She said this about this man. About a man who was actually giving effort and actually putting forth.
You know what it is? I think that so many women resonate with Jasmina because they have been in the presence of men that have been good men. He might not have had the aesthetic that they wanted.
Oh, so fumbling the bag is a common thing. True. That makes sense. I'm saying it makes sense.
I know a plenty of women. I can name 5 women right now. Like
you know what? And you know what? I think you know what it is. You really shed some light on this one situation in just that one sentence, because you're right. I think it is more common than not that Jasmina's behavior is relatable for more women than
relatable.
not.
It's so relatable. Women will give you any silly reason, and I mean that. And I mean this from speaking to women who want a man. Like I'm not saying that from like single women who are fine or whatever the case may be. I'm talking to single women.
I didn't think about it like this.
Want to be with men. The silliness.
Yes, this makes sense.
The silliness that they will tell you why they don't. Oh, I don't want to mess with him because he wore red shoes that day, or I don't want to mess with him because he don't do this and he don't do that. And it's just like, and to me it's silly because I believe all things can be changed. Not even changed. I believe that when you're with somebody, they inspire you. They inspire adjustments. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
So I think that we thinking about it from a place of, oh, this is who he is today, and that's just who he won't be, and that's just not the truth. You get with people.
You're right, though. I didn't think about it like this. When I was thinking, why is she not getting the same energy? It's because a lot of these
I'm right most of the time.
A lot of these motherfuckers is the Jasmina energy. Like,
and I really do believe that.
A lot of people out here is real. It's more people than not that's moving around like Jasmina.
I honestly think that we're the minority in feeling like she's a problem.
Oh, for sure. And I think that Dr. Viviana was 1,000% right, and because she would say to a lot of y'all the same thing she said to Jasmina.
She's 1,000% right.
When you get out here in the world, you're gonna regret this dumbass decision you made.
Because all these men want to do is screw, and you talking about, oh well, I don't want to get physical with nobody. I like to see you meet them. I like to see you meet all these men. Do the way that social media has over sexualized every single thing.
Yeah.
All these humans want to do is screw. So the idea that you I be holding back. it's so tired. It's just tired. And you know what it is? I think Dr. Viviana was spot on when she told her that. I think she was spot on. And
She was.
I say that to my girlfriends all the time. Y'all be missing out on good things with the bullshit.
Yeah.
And then y'all want to sit up here in front of my face and feed me game with bullshit sprinkled on it and expect me to eat it up.
And it'll
No,
be
you look dumb.
sophisticated bullshit. Well, you know what? I just feel like I just deserve this. He
I
got to be
can't.
7'5",
I
7'2",
can't.
and like
Ain't nothing wrong with that man. And I don't give a damn what you said. If you would have provided him with some energy to reciprocate, he would have did it tenfold.
1,000%.
And I don't care what you say. And yes, you do have to provide somebody some kind of affection. And I mean that for any human. And I
Yeah.
mean that for any fucking human. Here, I kiss my girlfriends in the mouth. I got a girlfriend right now that I kiss in the mouth. Okay? Like, you know what I mean? Because I love her so much. You ain't going to tell me that you hanging around this man every fucking
Giving him
day.
dust, and he's supposed to just be going after you, like
I'm about to
with
throw up.
everything in
Let's
his
move on.
body.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb. And I'm really pissed. The reason why I'm so mad about this, y'all, is, and I'm going to be honest, and this might be racial, it's because she black. See, it didn't bother me when Alyssa did it because I didn't expect nothing much from her. But the fact that she is a black woman and I see the plight of black women and I speak to my girlfriends and how they are having a hard time finding a spouse and a partner and then you see somebody get picked with somebody and then the reason why y'all broke up was because he ain't bring a laptop to you.
We watched it
She
in
literally
multiple
sat up
seasons,
there
to
and
be honest.
told these mother jumpers. She literally sat up there and told them that the reason why he asked for a divorce is because he was upset by the way I asked him for a laptop and that turned into a big argument.
Nobody
Are
and
you
no and
kidding me?
nobody really like held her feet to the
Yo,
fire for.
yo, are you kidding me? Like, do y'all hear that? Is
I
it
heard
me?
it. I don't know if a lot of other people heard it, but I hear the wild shit that she
Which
says.
is why Dr. Viviana was like, that's not why this happened. Like, come
Yeah,
on. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? But I also didn't like when she said, well, or I'm going to know who I want to be and how I'm going to be when I go to the next person. No, the fuck you're not, because you don't think you do nothing wrong. And
Exactly.
that's very
You're gonna
clear.
repeat this same mistake over and over and
But
over
guess
again.
what? You already have. You're not going to get me to believe that somebody wouldn't have, some people would say, oh, she might not be married because she ain't want to be married. I'm really of the belief that when you find companionship and partnership at a certain level, we all want to indulge in that. You know what I mean? And maybe not in a marriage sense, it could be just companionship. You are not going to get me to believe that beautiful woman, okay, has come across men who didn't want to hold on to her. If she's not in a space or she didn't want to hold on to, she's really literally in a space because of her behavior. And I do not care what anybody says.
And it's very evident, and it was
I
very
don't care.
evident early on in the show that from friends, from watching
She's
her,
mean
from
too.
from watching her interact with friends and family, that um no one in her life has really held her accountable for anything that she's done. Like, when you go and you watch the show and you see her go back and tell
But then they
stories.
making jokes about how she talked to her husband. Oh
Yeah,
well, we know she gonna get them together. That's your husband.
yeah.
I mean, like, there is no on my most upset, and Joe will tell you this. I try not to take a tone at my most upset. You know what I mean? I can't. Cause she ain't
I
want to
just
be.
didn't
I'm
like.
done talking about her because she didn't even want to be fucking married, and y'all not
She
gonna get me to
didn't.
believe she
She didn't
did.
want to be
Y'all not
married.
gonna. It was. Let's move on to Alyssa and Chris sitting down with his name is Chris, right?
Yeah.
Alyssa and Chris sitting down with Dr. Viv and them, and when Dr. Viviana pulled out the Mimi Tatum receipts, was y'all ready or was y'all not ready?
I'm just glad she was one of the few that was trying to keep the same energy.
The same motherfucking energy. And I really am happy that we had her. And I really hope there's some rumors swirling about a expert being let go. And I really genuinely hope, I actually really enjoy all three of them, if I'm being honest, for three different reasons. But Dr. Viviana felt like she was more comfortable in the reunion than we've seen her.
Well, it felt like she was not with the bullshit.
Yeah.
And I
And I appreciated
appreciate that
that.
because a lot of times when you watching stuff like this, you want somebody to kind of speak for you because you obviously can't be heard. And it's most frustrating when you're watching and you're like, why isn't anybody speaking up? Why isn't anybody saying, no, that's bullshit? This is what happened. Or, you know what I mean? Like, why isn't anybody, that's what I was talking about with Lindsay. Like, why isn't anybody holding so and so accountable? And I think that she might have, if she is getting fired, it might have been because she was tired of the bullshit and she wanted to speak up and she had an issue with production or, whoever, from based on her speaking up and being like, I just can't sit here and let this bullshit fly all around the room.
But how about Alyssa telling them, if y'all don't find me the perfect match, just don't match me? Bitch, what do you think this is?
She was so foul not only foul to Chris, but even to the expert.
I just find her to be disgusting. I mean,
absolutely
disgusting. And that's just the word I want to use. She is disgusting. I mean, vile, abhorrent. Like, I just find her to be a terrible human being. And I know I've said that 100 times, but even the back and forth that she had with Dr. Viviana and even Pastor Kyle, when he asked, like, what are your core values? We don't even know you.
And her response was, I don't want to get into that. We just let these people sidestep legitimate questions whenever they want to.
But you know what, though?
Why?
When Dr. Viviana, which is why Dr. Viviana is really the star of this episode, when Dr. Viviana was like kind of holding people feet to the fire, it was giving me insight into the kind of therapist that she is. Mm-hmm. And that's to me, but it also was giving me insight who could take therapy. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It was very clear when she said to Jasmina, like, you'll be the part about you're going to regret this. Like, you know what I mean? And she was like, or boom, 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 boom. I felt like that was very clear to me. Like, there's been moments the problem is that not that your therapist knows all things, right? Like, I want to be clear. Like, they're not omniscient. They're objective. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you see things about yourself very subjectively. Yes. You being the subject. Imagine an expert having the opportunity to
literally watch you via closed circuit television,
watch you do certain things, and you think that they
don't know what they're talking about. You're talking about a situation that they saw. It's very different when you're like, no, sir. Blah blah blah.
Right. You know what I mean? Telling a story. I tell the story wrong all the time. My therapist was really at the point where he would have probing questions like, okay, let's slow down. What about this? How did you handle that? What did you say? And then the story, I would be getting all the way back because I'm telling the story from the perspective where I'm right.
Yeah, you're telling one POV, right?
Yes.
But when you're on Married at First Sight, I don't care with your side of the story. I saw it play out. So imagine somebody speaking to you from a point of view of, I saw this play out for my own eyes, and you, Jasmine, and you sitting there talking about, well, no, I mean, this is what happened, and this is this is the way I see it, and I'm gonna be better for it because now I know. Like, what?
What are you talking about? I just feel bad for Chris. But let's move on to Mark and Lindsay. So Dr. Pepper said she didn't expect Mark and Lindsay to be that combustible. And if I'm being honest, I didn't either. You know what I mean? I really, really did not either in the beginning. As we got close to the end, it was very clear of what she may have been capable of. So when he says that she spit on him or this or this or that, I believe him. And I think she slept.
You can tell.
I think she slapped the shit out of him.
You can visibly tell how terrified Mark is of altercations with Lindsay. I mean, it is palpable. Like, I just don't understand how we can watch this man curl up like a child in a crib when just merely discussing things that happen with her and not really rake this lady over the coals for a lot of the shit that she's done.
Rake.
And again, it goes back to me thinking like, man, if the roles was reversed, what type of energy would Mark be getting?
He wouldn't be getting that energy, and we can be honest about that. And I think that even but Dr. Viviana again for the win.
Again.
She said this is so one-sided. And then but
I want you to put a pin there because that was the big thing that I'm glad you said it, because that was one of the biggest things I disliked about this whole segment and this whole storyline around them. It
Mm-hmm.
was too much of like a preschool teacher who just didn't want to deal with the issue and just said, well, both of you guys go to timeout. Like this
Yeah.
wasn't a double issue.
Yeah.
This wasn't a Mark and Lindsay issue. Lindsay was the 1000%. She was the catalyst for the terroristic issues that they were having in their relationship. And I'm so glad that Dr. Viviana was just like, nah, we can't do the whole like, well, both of you played a part. You know, there's two like, no, that's bullshit. But sometimes somebody is just to fuck up themselves. Like sometimes somebody set the grenade off themselves. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this was a situation where it was time out for this whole like, well, both of you guys know that two people contributed to this, and that's bullshit, man.
But you know what else is bull swanky, and I didn't like. And I didn't like how Lindsay called Dr. Viviana. And I know
you're a nasty person,
but I know y'all gonna think like, what do you mean? The people fight so hard to get to a space where they are doctors.
It was obviously a dig.
It was
and she called it out. She called the digs out when the digs was going at Mark.
And when she stopped her, she said, no, we don't want you to be so truthful. And I think that she was absolutely spot on. And even to say Viviana, yo, that's disrespectful. And the reality is Lindsay knew that because guess what? Lindsay is a nurse.
Yeah, Lindsay, it's nothing dumb about her. It's nothing dumb about Lindsay. So when she's doing these things, it's very much so conscious and premeditated.
You're absolutely right. And so really, shout out to Dr. Viviana. We love you, boo. You look good in that jumpsuit, baby. And I just really enjoyed the segment with the experts. I thought it was really important for us to have that. I think that they should do that again with the people who, may not make it to the end or whatever the case may be. They do need a little extra help, but I ain't like the end of the episode either. I actually twice I checked out from the end of this episode. I watched it last night with my husband, and then this morning I watched it again, and both times I was like, bored. We do not care about the intimacy moments. Half these people ain't even with each other no more. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? We just don't care. Like I just don't care. And I feel like I really do wish Stephen, y'all know I was gonna pass them, and not because I don't like Stephen Noy, but because they don't move me at all.
They don't. I don't
so it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they get passed up. Because how about they was talking about Elijah and Juana Katina all the time? Like it wasn't a whole other couple on the bitch. They was still together.
It's just not much there.
I wanna end with the conversation about living separately, which I said the same thing, and I think you did as well, Joe, that Dr. Viviana said. Dr. Viviana, again, for the win. When she said, I just don't think that I would, she said they got too many things as a newlywed couple who do not know each other. Yeah. That's the caveat. Yeah. To be living separately. That's number one. Number two, if Nui was so concerned about finances, why wouldn't you live together? The reality is most of us in this time, like most of us in 2022, is looking for somebody to share this capitalistic lifestyle with. If we being honest.
The reality of it is that that's not the part that she worried that's not the reason why they're not living together. They're not living together because they don't want to be in the Noy specifically does not want to be in this legitimate committed space of being married. And she wants to slow walk it, but you didn't sign up for slow walk at first sight.
Noi is the most confusing. Another reason why I don't care is because Noi is so confusing to me.
Like you signed up for married at first sight. You're married. You signed up to get married. So like I said before in the other review, I can understand the feeling of like, okay, I want to still get to know this person, still date this person. Like the feeling of wanting to kind of slow it down a little bit, but at the same time, you signed up for a show called Married at First Sight, where you are full blown legally married.
Yes.
So moving in with your spouse is a part of the whole experience. You know what I mean? So to get to the end of filming and go, let's just be boyfriend and girlfriend now. That to me is like you shouldn't be on the show.
And that's exactly what Dr. Viviana thought. And rightfully so. And then Kevin all extra like, oh, that was such a bomb that you didn't live with your husband. No, it's not. She is old as Methuselah. It is not such a bomb that this woman who was established with her own children decided, I like living in my house. You like living in your house. Let's be
still,
married.
but she ain't that. Oh, it's still weird to me, especially because you're a couple's
But
therapist.
she didn't give us the details. Who knows if they just like, okay, we spent
details,
3
but that's
days
why
here.
she don't. But that's part of why she wasn't holding people's feet to the fire like Dr. Viviana was. So that's a whole nother.
But you know what?
Comment on another video.
Is it me or do she seem like she ain't got time for this shit?
Who, Dr. Pepper? Dr. Pepper, I don't really know what the she's real sometime to me, to be honest. Like, so I don't really know what to make of it.
We hit all the things I wanted to hit, and I did it off the top of the dome. So if you have not already, okay, it's time to go. I gotta eat. If you have not already, bust down, subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you hit us up on all of our socials, okay? And we'll see you beautiful.